Welcome back to the Bible Reading Project, hoping to inspire you to live it. Live the Bible every single day, not just read it. Anybody can read it. You can be a jerk and read it and never change. The goal is to read it and live it, to become not only a hearer, but to put it into practice. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 today. Hope you read it. I hope you put it into practice, and I hope it changes your life as you read it. We're living in a culture today where the buzzword, you know it. Come on, don't act like we don't know it. It is woke. Everything is now woke. The news media is woke. Hollywood is woke. College professors are woke. Everything's woke today. And so the challenge becomes, so what? Did you expect it to be any different? And we could say, well, sure we did. And then we point back to my generation of time, which is way back in the 70s of, well, I just wish we had it back in the good old days, the days when we didn't have to deal with all this stuff. And I even had a conversation with a friend the other day, and I said, man, years ago, 30 years ago, it was easy. The conversations I had were very simple. They were in a nice little bowl. You could have a conversation with a teenager or a young adult, and 90% of all conversation was going to be shoved into a neat little package of what we had to talk about. And not anymore. It's all jumbled up now, and it is a hodgepodge, a mosaic of sorts of things that are out there. Who would have ever thought girls would be boys and boys would be girls? And I would have never even considered, because I love politics, that we would have ever in the history of the world elected somebody to the Supreme Court who could not even define what a woman is. And you know as well as I do, they can define a woman. They are a woman, but they just can't publicly say it. If you publicly say it and you don't adhere to the woke, well, you go broke. You get canceled. You get shut down. Yay, Kanye. They got rid of him last week. Got him off Instagram and got him off Twitter. He's just a little too fancy for the woke people. So that's how it goes. But don't let that bother you. Don't sit back and think, oh God, we live in such a terrible generation. Absolutely not. That's dumb thinking. You do not want to think that way. You've been alive for such a time as this. So if you're a high school kid, you're in the middle of high school, wake up, smell the roses. You're there for a reason. You were put in the middle of a woke culture to make a difference. You were put in the middle of where you are to either conform or to be the light of the world and the salt of the earth. So maybe the issue is not, oh my God, there goes the world. Oh my God, it's a woke generation. Oh my God, the curriculum today is terrible. What they're teaching us in first, second, and third and fourth grade. What they're telling our fourth graders or third graders about sexuality and sexual identity and gender identity and all of our pronouns. And now you have to use your pronouns. And now we have all kind of teachers inside the school systems, and they're all going woke. And everybody's crying that they use their pronouns. And big deal, get over it. It's the world. You think it would be any different? It's not like the world is going to act like the church. It's impossible. So get over it. If you're in it for a reason. And the reason is to be the light of the world, the salt of the earth. The reason is to bring the inference of the truth to the equation. So the problem is not that the world's going woke. The problem is that Christians have still been asleep. That's the problem to me. I've never been afraid of where culture goes because God has always made the remedy. And the remedy is always His people. And His people hold the remedy. And the remedy is the truth. And the truth is connected to the Spirit. We are the remedy. But if you shut us up, if we become too scared to say anything, if we just conform, you're a high school kid and you're just conforming to everything, get over it. You're part of the problem. Even if you say you love Jesus. If you're an adult Christian and you're posting about how terrible this generation is, but you don't say anything, you never own your 50 feet, you are the problem. That is how this goes down. The world is not the problem. They're here. The devil is not the problem. Been defeated. The problem is Christians are still asleep at the wheel. The problem is we've shut our mouths. We're scared to say anything. We don't want to be labeled. We don't want to hurt feelings. Nah, that has to be gone. So, young person, middle school, high school, or whatever age you are, wherever you are in your job, wherever your 50 feet is, whether it's school, whether it's a high school sports team, whatever it is, wherever your 50 feet has bound you to be in the middle of a hospital, you don't have to walk around with a sign that says repent or die, you're all going to hell. That's not even what it is, but the goal is that the thing inside you has to be bigger, than everything going on around you. And if you're getting conformed and you're conforming, you're just getting sucked into the equation, then the reality is that what you thought was inside you is either not real, it's not a real thing to you. So it's Christianity up here, but it's not real to me because I conform all the time. I give in, I just go with the flow. Well, if you're going with the flow and giving in, then probably your Christian faith is more in your head, and it's just a set of rules you believe rather than a literal change of heart where you're just different. And you kind of may float with Christian people over here on the weekend in your groups, but over here in the world. So that's my thinking today. Listen to this, read this. 1 Corinthians chapter 1. Do you hear that bell go off? 1 Corinthians chapter 1. Read the whole thing today, but listen to this. Verse 18. The message of the cross is foolish to those who are headed for destruction. So the world's going to destruction is what Christians believe. If they don't believe in Jesus, the world's headed to destruction. Christianity 101 right there. But we who are being saved know it's the very power of God. As scriptures say, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, and I will discard the intelligence of the intelligent. So here it is, verse 20. Man, it stings. So where does this leave the philosophers, the woke people? The people who say, oh no, we understand what gender is and gender fluidity and gender identity and ze, zis, za, sis, me, my, whatever our pronouns are, and all of the just be you, be fluid, be whatever you want to be. Yeah, I saw an interview with somebody the other day, thinks they're a goat. I mean, whatever. So listen to what this verse says. So where does this leave the philosophers, the scholars? So it's not just talking about dumb people. It's not talking about where do we leave the uneducated people. It literally pulls in the smart people, the PhD people, the EDD people, the people that have all the degrees. Not like I'm smart or anything, but those cost me a lot of money. So all of that. So he's not just talking to dumb people. He's talking to people, Supreme Court justices, politicians, educated lawyers, doctors, philosophers, professors, whatever, tenured professors, whatever it is. Now listen again, he says, where does this leave the philosophers, the people that like to talk about the end of the world and life and how life works and the whys of life? Where are the scholars, the people who read and study? They're on the cutting edge and on the cusp of new ideas, new ways to think about things, and the world's brilliant debaters. So whether that's, whoever, Jordan Peterson or whoever is the brilliant debater, a Bill Maher. I don't know if we would consider him a debater or not, but who knows. It's not just addressing stupid people. So we have to get over the notion that Christianity is just for the weak, stupid people. Listen to what it says again. He says, I am going to say to all those, the philosophers, the scholars, and the world's brilliant debaters, God has made the wisdom of the world look foolish. Since God in his wisdom, verse 21, saw to it that the world would never know him through human wisdom, he used it for foolish preaching to save the people who believe. Even God tells us that the world's never going to see it God's way, ever. The world will never see the wisdom of God God's way. It's just foolish. It's meant to be foolish. You stand up and say, hey, a Jewish dude named Jesus died for the sins of the world so that you could live forever in a place we've never been, because you're going to stand before a God that made it and he's the judge. I mean, that's stupid. This is the dumbest thing ever. I was watching Bill Maher the other day. I like him. I like to watch him because I like the way he thinks about things, and it challenges how I think about things. And his own comment was, I don't get the whole God of the universe thing, the whole universe speaking to us. Well, I don't either. I get it. I mean, that makes total sense. That's why Christianity is a religion of faith, if you want to call it a religion. Some people will even say it's not a religion. It's a reality. It's a kingdom reality. But again, I go back to, we're foolish as Christians if we think the world is ever going to think like us, or if we're pouting that it's going some weird way that we don't agree, or, oh my God, they think differently than the Bible. Yeah, wake up. It's supposed to be this way. I mean, that's just the way it is. So what do we need? If the philosophers, the debaters, the scholars see it as foolish, see what you believe is foolish, that means anybody who is not a believer in Jesus is probably going to think what you believe is foolish. whether that's gender identity, gender fluidity, pronouns, whatever it is. If you think any differently than the wisdom that's around you in the world, you're probably going to look like an idiot. Get over it. If you're scared of what people are going to think about you, man, Christianity, you're in the wrong stream, because Christianity is designed to bring persecution, because persecution is you think totally different than the way the world thinks. Let's grow up. Let's be bold. Let's be Braveheart. Let's get on with the show. Let's swing for the fences. Let's not be afraid to stand up for the wisdom of Jesus Christ and the wisdom of what God says. Yes, it will be different. Yes, it will be rejected. Yes, you will be thought probably pretty stupid and ignorant. Yes, they'll probably look at you as an uneducated moron. Get over it. It is the life of Christianity. Welcome to Christianity. Pick up a sword. Fight for the truth of Jesus Christ. Hey, it'll pay off. Have a good day.